I want to welcome you to the program Tide of Affairs today, Wednesday 13th of September 2023. It's a special program, and of course, we are continuing the narrative of what we have been talking about. We've been looking at the faculty of how our people's mind work, and it's been a very critical one. And you must understand that every critical situation has to be faced with critical responses for you to have critical answers that will help to solve the problem. I want to welcome you to this day to the program. Sorry, I'm distracted somehow, but I'll be concentrating soon. As usual, when I open these days, I've not been doing any montage to begin the program because I just want to go straight to talking to our people. Of course, soon we'll begin to we'll coordinate all of that stuff and begin to show some other details that people need to and be part of. Sure, sorry, please. Thank you so much, everyone. This is Biafra Global Network. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and I'm your host on this program, or you are here with me today. And we shall be circumnavigating these issues that concerns us. We are very, very, very particular about the truth, because we know that the only way we can actually have results and get our freedom is when we are truthful. And no matter how you dance, no matter how you jubilate on every news that you hear on social media, if you are not on the path of truth, forget it. You are wasting your time. You are not yet ready for freedom. It's as simple as that. No two ways about it. Mazen Amdekano said it. He didn't say it when he was drunk. He said it from the influence of the spirit. He said it because he was actually having the premonition from the spirit realm to say to the people that you must get your freedom, but you must understand it will come by truth and transparency. And that is why we are adamant about anything that is contrary to truth. That is why we are consistently talking about the truth and transparency that we require to get our freedom. It is very, very important for us to know this. Sorry, in the next 10 seconds, I will be through with what I'm doing, so that I can concentrate in talking to us and, of course, disseminating information so that we can have results. I want to welcome you all. This is Biafra Global Network. My name is Kelechi Ambrose, and today we're looking at how desperation is costing us so much, how desperation in the project of Biafra is costing us so much, how desperation is costing us so much. Our people are just, desperate, and then they fall into the hands of criminals. It's just like how 419ers, when you talk about 419, you're talking about the Nigeria code, criminal code and all of that. And it has nothing to do with any other nation. It's only, it's 419 in Nigeria code, criminal code. Other nations have their code number and all of that. And the only way people fall into the hands of 419ers is because of their desperation to be rich. When you are desperate, you lose the ability to reason very well. Now, let me tell you something. Desperation is in two ways. Desperation, you can be desperately desperate in pursuit of purpose, and you can also be desperate in pursuit of purpose. These are two different things. Desperate in pursuing purpose and desperate in pursuing purpose. But one is flawed because the first one loses the ability to reason. You just want to get it, no matter how it comes. I was watching a skit, and the guy was asking the lady, would you, the lady never knew she was being covered. I don't know whether it's been acted or whatever, but at least the impression being given to us is that the lady didn't know she was being covered. The camera was on her, and she was being asked, "Can you sleep with my dog for 1 million?" She got very angry. What nonsense is that? She got very, very angry, and she slapped the guy and was almost fighting. The guy said, "Okay, I'm going to raise it to 2 million." She said, "You are stupid. Why would you tell me to sleep with your dog million. And then the guy said, okay, he's going to make it 3 million. And then suddenly she got affected. Her emotion was, 3 million. You can imagine me getting 3 million now. The guys told her that it's going to be just for 5 minutes or so. 5 minutes or so, and everything is done. And the dog is going to have condom, and then it's gone. And then you get your 3 million. She was carried away by the notion of the money. She lost the ability to reason along the line of morals, and she lost her morals because she thought about the money and more, and the idea of the money and the intention to make money, and the decision and the desperation to make money overwhelmed her ability to reason and think along the line of morals. And then suddenly it now was obvious that the guy was pranking her, and it became an insult. It became a very shameful thing to her, and they started insults and all of that, and fighting here and there and all of that. There's something that desperation does, especially when you are desperately not coordinated. When you are not coordinated in your desperation, it is good to be desperate, because in life, desperation desperation helps you it helps trigger something inside of you for pursuit of purpose. But you must understand that before you apply the concept of desperation to whatever you are doing, you must analyze the whole thing. You must look at the whole thing you're doing on why am I into this thing? You must understand the purpose for it. And then understanding the purpose for it now, you must understand now that for every purpose to materialize, there's a process that, if harnessed, would not affect result negatively. And that is where desperation begins to make research, investigation, and desperation begin to patronize, the ability to reason and information and all of that will help you get the right result. Today, we're going to be looking at how desperation is plunging our people. Desperation. I think I have a problem with that. I think I made a desperation. Let me correct. Oh, my. Let me correct the error there. Desperation. I don't know the kind of error I've done here. How desperation. Okay, I've corrected it, so it can be platforms. I wish this can be corrected, and so everybody would have the correction. I want to welcome you to this program today. This is Biafra Global Network, and this is the Tide of Affairs program. First, before we continue, I'm going to be going to the issue of what is happening in Libya today. Some of you know the information, because today is Tide of Affairs, so we're going to look at things that are going on around us. Libya today is suffering a serious, where two dams crumbled. Two dams crumbled because of heavy rains, and today they have lost over 5,000 people, almost 6,000 people confirmed dead since Monday, and over 10,000 missing. Now, in fact, what really got me emotionally, aside the emotional trauma that surrounds such kind of loss and danger facing people facing danger and all of that, and lots of things happening to the people. Aside that particular narrative of what has happened, the devastation, the danger, the unfortunate situation, there's one particular thing that caught my attention so much. A little baby of 1 day old, about 1 day old or so, was brought out of the rubbles and still having the umbilical cord. That means maybe the woman was given birth at that point in time, and then that earthquake happened. Maybe the mother was given birth, the earthquake happened. That baby survived. It's surprising. I think the baby survived. I think the mother is dead or something, and it's shocking. Sometimes you just wonder the kinds of things that happen around us, and you begin to wonder what the mystery behind nature and what God does and all of that. But we thank God anyways. Lots of people missing, over 10,000, and some places people are still buried. And the situation of Africa, where there are no precautions about things, knowing that some stuff can happen at a particular time, but people are not taking precaution over these things, and then they end up getting, becoming a problem to the whole thing. But I want to, in all things, what do? We just appreciate God for those who are still alive, those who have succeeded. On Friday here, Morocco had its own terrible earthquake, which has claimed over about 3,000 lives so far, confirmed. And now Morocco, for the past 3 days now, almost 3 days, people are being searched out. And but we say that God will preserve us all so that we don't have such kind of experience in our land, in where we are, and all of that. You cannot avoid natural disasters when they are very devastating, especially because it's controlled by nature, controlled by God, and nothing you can do about it. Praying for those who are alive, that God will keep giving them strength and providing for them. But I just love the spirit of the Libyans. You hear that we are Libyans. Is it Moroccans? We are Moroccans. Yes, I'm talking about the Morocco people. Now you see, now I was listening to the news, and I was wondering how BBC and CNN and other news media platforms are reporting this issue that have happened in Libya. And I begin to wonder, these are people, very, 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 very shameless people, because the nations they represent, America, Britain, and other nations, NATO nations, attacked Libya, destabilized that region, and now they are reporting that there are two governments in those, one government in charge of Tripoli and another government in charge of another segment of the nation, another region of the nation, and this conflicting thing is hampering the relief materials getting to the people, and coordination of relief materials and all of that. And I begin to wonder, you're announcing this, but you're not saying to the people why these two governments came about. You're not telling the people, your viewers, you're not reminding them that it is the nations that you are from, the NATO nations, that caused what is happening in Libya today. People are dying more because there is no coordination nationally. People are dying more because there is no coordination nationally, which means that what NATO did in 2011, killing Gaddafi and causing a particular disruption in that nation, is what is making more people die in this natural disaster right now. Whenever you have a particular commotion in leadership, you are going to have more people's lives. It will cost more lives. Now, the more lives we are having today in Libya, because relief materials are not getting to them quickly, and because there need to be there's no coordination between the two governments, fighting for supremacy over Libya, is because there is, this particular disorganization, this particular chaos and trouble and destabilization that NATO brought to that region. Africa has always been a target for these people. And because of this destabilization, today more people are dying in Libya because relief materials cannot get to them, based on the fact that two rival governments are in control. And these two rival governments may see a particular relief program as a threat to their existence. And so it hampers the whole thing, because they must make searches, they must confirm that this is from, and this is true and not from the rival, their rival or something, or it's not an attack, or it's the planned attack against them. And so this affects the people so much. Now you can see why it is very, very important for us to be coordinated, for us to be focused, for us to have a formidable front for what we are pursuing as a nation. When you don't have a formidable front, when you are not coordinated, when you don't stand on the path of truth and make sure that we all come together to face it by truth, we're going to have these kinds of situations when situations arise. We're going to have this kind of troubles around us. We're going to have this kind of confusion when circumstances and situations like this arise. And for these kinds of situations not to arise, we must have unity and this coordination. And this must be on the platter of truth, not just having any kinds of people coming on and then saying that they are fighting for the people. Now, let's go straight into this mission of today. 2 days ago, I was talking about how I made mention, I gave a second point, which the point I stopped at was the point of our people having more desire to invest outside Biafra land, and they prefer to keep all their resources and more of their resources and less of their resources in Biafra land, more outside Biafra land, less in Biafra land, They can just come and build a house to live in Biafra land, but they prefer to go to other places. And I gave an instance, I gave a scripture, I gave Matthew chapter 6 from verse 19 to 21 as my central truth for analyzation or something, and I gave it as a basis of um, uh, symbolism. It was like symbolic, using that scripture, because that scripture talks about, Yahushua saying that where your treasure is, your heart will be. Nobody goes to, anybody who wants to have their treasures and who value what they have, or know that what they have is a treasure, cannot go and bury them in the earth, but they should have it in heaven, because heaven is a place of perfection, and earth symbolically represents destruction, because anything that is buried under the ground begins to rot. When you plant a seed, it rots and grows and germinates, and again it rots again and germinates, and like that. It's a cycle. It's a cycle, yes. And then of course anything that goes into the ground, of course, when people die, they are buried in the ground. When you put treasure, when you put anything in the ground, it begins to rust or something. When you have a treasure, or when you have treasures, you look for a place to keep them that will preserve them rightly. You don't just go and bury them in the ground. Outside the fact that earth produces treasure, at the same time, when you have discovered that treasure and you have gotten the treasure, that treasure has to be preserved, because as much as the earth produces treasure, the earth also destroys treasure. So whatever you have, and when it has been purified or it has been refined to give you what you want, you must also look for a way of preserving it. For instance, when you have something like when you bring crude oil out of the ground and then you now go and pour it on the floor, it goes. So it takes that crude. But when you go refine it and put it in a container and avoid pouring it on the ground, you preserve it. Even if it's later, it will go back, based on the fact that you're going to use it for some stuff and all of that, and what you're going to use it for also would will with time get destroyed and then go back to the earth. So we're looking at treasure here, and the important thing here now is, how do we understand the workings of the mind of an average Biafran, and how do we understand why they don't value their freedom? Because when you understand that freedom is treasure, you would coordinate on how you treasure it, or how you save it, or how you preserve it. Evangelist, good to have you here. Right on, my comrade. Thank you so much, Evangelist. Good to have you here, as always. I've been looking forward to your expositions further, and of course, getting to hear more of those audios that is making the kingdom of darkness shake. So hopefully, we're expecting you to come more. Biafrans are expecting. Last time I told Biafrans that they should keep touch with your platform on Facebook, Ngozi Chukwu, and then they will find you with a cross, on the profile, having a cross. There they will be getting broadcasts. Of course, they will be linked to the YouTube also. You can get the broadcasts you make, the expositions you make, and the audios that you play, so that they can get the truth. Because nobody can stop the truth. Nobody can stop those who are truthful from saying the truth. Whenever they stop us, then we have already allowed ourselves to be defeated, and we can never be defeated. We stand for the truth at all times and always. Now, let's go back to the 8th, and so let's go back to what I was trying to give, the impression I was trying to give us. Now, treasure means something of value, right? That's simple definition. Anything you call treasure means that you value that thing. Am I correct? Now, if you value your resources, for instance, before we go on the issue of Biafra, let's look at it critically like this. If you value your money, where would you keep it? You would want to keep it where it is secure, right? Which means that the reason why sometimes we keep the monies in the banks is because we value them and we don't want them to get missing. Some people can have very secretive savings, or somewhere where they box their monies, or they keep their money, they preserve their monies, and they keep those places very safe and secure, locked and preserved. Make sure that that place is sanitized, and for nothing to happen to the monies, right? Now, what would make anybody go to build a very strategic office or business empire outside Biafra land? What will make that happen? I am live on program right now. Please let me call you later. I'm live on the broadcast. I'll give you a call after the broadcast. Thank you. Hope you're. I'm live on program right now. Yes. So, what would make people, decide to go put their monies in the bank? What would make people decide to put their monies in the banks? Because they want to secure their treasure. they want to preserve their treasure, right? Which means that whenever you see people guide anything or guard anything very critically, very critically, or very judiciously, they are trying to show you that this thing is of importance to them. Am I correct? Because it is very important that we analyze things like this so that we can understand why and what we are doing, if what we are doing is right or wrong. Because when we begin to bring out analysis like this, at least you begin to think, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? And all of that. God forbid I am unstoppable. Yes, of course, I believe that. I know you, of course. I will always stand for the truth till Biafra freedom comes and forever. Yes, and it is the truth that can make us free. Thank you so much, Evangelist, for that. And of course, Biafrans know that you are standing from the beginning. You have been on the path of truth and you never rescind. You never go away from it. And of course, you cannot go out. You cannot go away from it this time. Not after you have gone this far. We can go far. We can go back after this far. It's not possible. So now, why do our people invest more of their resources outside Biafra land? Because it is where your treasure is. That's where your heart will be. If your treasure was in Biafra land, if your resources were in Biafra land, definitely your mind will be in Biafra land. That means you will be seeking quickly for the freedom, and you would make sure that you don't patronize anything that would make you not stand to see that Biafra is free so that your treasure will be secure. Now, but because we don't see value in our land, we tend to give value to wherever we're found all over the nations of the world, because that is where we think that our treasure is. How? Because that is where we are working. That is where we are making money. That is where we are working as slaves, making the little monies we can make. That is where we feel secure, in quotes, as slaves. That is where we feel like we call home, in quotes, as slaves, because we have lost interest, we have lost value for our land. So sometimes we don't even mind the attitudes we put up, or the things we display, or the behaviors we put up. We don't even mind whether it will cost us years, it will drag us behind for years again and cause us to lag behind. We don't care, because we feel that where we are now, at least our children are there, our children are abroad with us, or our children are in Lagos with us, or our children are somewhere with us, or somewhere, whether UK, US, Australia, Germany, or Austria, wherever in the world, Japan, China, Cambodia, wherever, sorry. We always think that as long as we have our children where we are, and we have our families where we are, and we have something doing, even if it's of course tantamount to slavery, we are doing some stuff and making money. That is where our treasure is. So our homeland and where we are from does not have it's where we're from anyways. It is where we're from, in quotes, where we are from. We don't attach the value of where we are from to our destiny or our purpose. So we have no purposeful insight to where we are from, because we see where we are from as only a place of birth. And if they like, make them destroy. If they like, make them get Biafra. If they like, let them do anything. You can steal the resources of the people. You can dupe the people to sell the land, because you feel that wherever you are, you're secure, you're okay. At least, after all, my children are grown. My children, I married them, someone who is from US. I married from someone who is from UK. I married someone who is not in France, so we can give birth and have a new home. We have our home here. We can have in fact, we're going very soon. I'm going to be old. I'm going to get my retirement benefits, and I'm going to be where I am. And our mindset have been drawn to hold on to false beliefs and to give less value and attention to where we come from. How do we know this? It is easy. You find out that when our people make money, because making of money is a process, make money. When they make money, no matter how they make it, they prefer to invest outside. Go to Lagos and see how our people are buying lands in Lagos. Go to Ogun State. Ogun State. Go towards that Papalanto area, Ogun State, Songo area. towards going towards Olomore and all those places in Ogun State, to Kuto, go to all those places in Ogun State, you'll see people buying lands. You go to Ibadan, several places, go to those places. Our people are buying, they prefer to buy lands in foreign lands than to send the money back and build, whether businesses that would draw investments and draw attention of investors to their area or to their local places where they are from. You know why? Colonially, it has been put in our minds, and that consciousness of the fact that our place has no value and does not have any economic value to what we are expecting, that mindset have haunted us for so long that we have become a problem to ourselves. Now, let me say this. Somebody posted some stuff, I think one of my brothers, in what I posted on Facebook 2 days ago or so. Yes, 2 days ago, 2 mornings ago, I said that why is it that Biafrans prefer to invest their treasures outside Biafra land rather than in Biafra land? And he made a comment. Someone came there and insulted me. That's normal, because we know that we have so many he-goats. Well, this person who came to insult me anyways is not a Biafran. He's from the Oduduwa. And he said, I just came to cause trouble because I am saying the truth. Because our people keep buying lands outside Biafra land. They buy in Lagos, basically in Lagos. And he's feeling that I'm talking about that. You see, our people are so shallow-minded. We don't want to talk about what the problems are, but we want a solution to solve such kind of problems. Solve what you have not analyzed, what you have not talked about, what you have not reminisced over, what you have not debated about, what you have not argued about, what you have not really looked at critically. And how can you look at things critically except you talk about them? You must talk about them to really give vivid, information or understanding of your aspect and my aspect, and all of us coming together to give vivid understanding of what we understand about the matter. And then we can now begin to provide solutions. Because after I do analyze your aspect or your opinion, and you analyze my opinion, and then we analyze somebody else's opinion, we now come together looking at the opinions, the various opinions, and then we come out with a constructive, conclusion based on critical and reasoning over opinions, critical analysis of opinions. And then we can now make a decision that would cover every of our opinions and take away the excesses that may not be relevant to the opinions. And then we now have a formidable understanding. That is why we're telling you that for us to get Biafra, we must sit. We must sit on a front, no matter the group we belong. We must sit. As long as the group you belong is a group of truth, we must come together to discuss. Unless we do that, we are wasting our time. Because I'm going to go there. I told you that I'm going to discuss the issue of Sudan, and then I'm going to give an analysis on that, and then I'm going to relate it to Biafra program right now and open your eyes to the things you need to know. Because there are some things we need to know that some of us might even know, but we don't see it critically in that light. So I'm going to open up that maybe in 2 days from now. On Friday, I'm going to go into that, either on Friday or Saturday. Maybe on Friday, I'm going to continue this analysis, and then on Saturday, I'm going to talk critically about that. Because we need to begin to talk to ourselves in various ways and in critical ways to understand critically what we're doing. Now, listen to this. Now, he posted on that platform, he said to me, and he said to the those who also, come to that platform to look at the post I made, and he said something. He said that it is natural, that it is not a problem. It is not a problem to us. Even the Jews also were building everywhere, doing their businesses everywhere. They left their land, building everywhere. And of course, the Jews didn't just stand up, leave their land, and go build everywhere. They were disorganized. They were dispersed by the Roman Empire, who scattered them all over the nations of the world. And after Jerusalem was destroyed, burnt to ashes, you know, the wall of the temple broken, and the stones broken. You know, people were breaking the stones to see if there are gold hidden in the stones. So that the whole wall was crumbled, and fulfilling the you know, the prophecies made by Jeremiah and other people, you know, that's to be broken. And so they were seeking for gold, and they broke the wall. They now shattered the walls, you know, smashed the blocks. After destroying the temple, they smashed it, seeking for gold inside, and other you know, valuables and treasures inside the stones. Now, that was the reason why they were dispersed all over the nations of the world. They always believed in staying in their land and building the land. That have been the attitude of the Jews, and that have been the attitude of Biafrans from time. If you look pre-colonial period, the pre-colonial days, you'll discover that our people were intact. Our people believed in community. They believed in collectiveness. They believed in working together and doing things together and building together. They believed in collective responsibility and doing things together. That has been the behavior of Biafrans pre-colonial era. So telling me that it is a natural thing, that naturally people like traveling, no, that is a big farce. That's a big lie. That's a fie, you know, FIE. It's a fie, you know. Our people were not people who love to go. Our people are accommodating, quite all right, just like the Jews. But you know, the Jews also believe that even if they accommodate you, they also want to set the boundaries between you and the Jew, because they believe that they are special. Biafrans, Igbos, right from time, have always had this uniqueness about themselves. We have always have our forefathers and all of that, the ancestors, whom some people worship. I don't know why they worship ancestors. Just like now I die, and of course, at a point in time, I'll become an ancestor, because after you die, after some years, you now join the ancestors, right? Then somebody begin to worship me. Does it make sense? After, with all my flaws, with all my mistakes, with all my stupidity, sometimes with all my errors, with all my physical errors and my natural, you know, imperfection, you now begin to worship me. Then that means you have actually limited God, because you are now bringing me to the level of God, and maybe God will become more angry with me if I don't tell you that you shouldn't worship me when I die. Because most of our people have made people believe, even our parents have made our people believe, that you can worship ancestors. And ancestors are humans who died. Imperfect beings who died. So maybe when you now die, God will now say, why? God will now begin to beat you very well for teaching your children to worship ancestors. You know, so I better say it now, so that you know, when the time comes and I am no more, my children will not begin to think of ancestors. At least people can hear my voice and say, hey, yeah, he told us about ancestors. Ancestors are only human beings who are dead. They are not to be worshipped. There is a Chukokike. There is one God. Believe, O Israel, that the Lord, the God, is one God. Chukokike Abiyama. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The God of our fathers. Not their fathers, but the God of our fathers. That's why God wants to talk to the children of Israel. He says, the God of your fathers. The God and the God of your fathers. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He makes them understand that these are the people your fathers worship. I am the one your fathers worship, sorry. So he should know that I'm talking about myself. And so now he was now telling me, thank you so much, Ego. Good to have you here. Good to have you. Thank you so much. Now he was telling me, this is my cousin this is my brother. Let me call him my brother anyways, because anybody who relates with me positively is my brother. You know, when you relate with me positively, you're my brother, because we are all one. He wrote on that my platform, he said that no, there's no problem, there's no error about Biafrans investing outside Biafra land. That the issue here is that is how we are. Even the Jews were like that. And I tried to make him understand, no, that was not how we are. There was a time it happened, because our land was invaded. Now, what happened to the Jews was what happened to us. In I've forgotten the AD. Is it 48 AD or something, or 20 something, 40 something AD or so, or 60 something AD? I can't remember now. Why did I forget this? Is it 49 AD or 48 AD? When Israel, the nation of Israel, Jerusalem was destroyed, and the nation of Israel was dispersed all over the nations of the world. It was not their intention. Before then, Israelis or Israelites built invested in their land. They believed in investing in one another. In fact, let me tell you the original behavior of an average Jew, an average Israelite. If you have a shop, on a street now, and the next shop close to your house belongs to somebody, let's say from US, an American, and the shop of an Israeli is in 2 streets before your street. Even if you have everything in that your street that Israeli wants to buy in your shop, he will boycott your shop and walk to the next 2 streets to meet his brother who is selling the same thing you are selling that he wants, and buy from his brother. You know why? They have this mentality that their wealth must rotate amongst themselves. Their wealth must stay within them. That means if I have money, if I want to buy something, I buy from you who is also an Israeli, because that money remains in Israel as long as we patronize one another. So they prefer to go and look for their brother who is selling something that they want than to buy from someone who is close to them, who has what they want and still close to them. And they prefer to take that stress to go and buy from them, from their person who is far off. Power of oneness. That's it. They had this, that was why almost every empire that came want to penetrate Israel. The first empire, Israel walked into it by themselves. That's the first empire that oppressed Israel. That is the Egyptian empire. They walked into it by themselves, and they served about 430 years or so. And the next empire, which was about they served about over 1,000 years or so. I can't remember. No, about so hundreds of years. Anyways, the Assyrian Empire, they were invaded. Every empire that came after that, after the power of God was expressed in Israel, and the world got to know that God has said that He's going to give them a land flowing with milk and honey, and they started seeing the coordination and unity of Israel, they started attacking Israel. When people see, let me tell you, you think that Britain and co attacked you because they just want to attack your land? They attacked you because you had a spirit of unity. You had a spirit of success. That is why Biafrans succeed anywhere they go. Pure love is what they display. That's it. We have this similarity with the children of Israel. That's why some people can say that we actually came from that area, which I don't argue. I've read so many things, studied so many information and all of that. Sometimes, when you are not there, when things happen, you can just look at the stories critically and understand it very, very well, and then understand it based on the lines that connect, the connectivity and all of that. Just like I was trying before I came on broadcasting, I wanted to type, because I've been trying to get information from scientists over the time, before AI, artificial intelligence came in. I've been trying to get information about why monkeys are no more turning to humans. If you tell me that humans came from monkeys, why are they no more turning to humans? And then why is it that you now claim that you are superior when the first monkey, of course, based on its color, should be somebody of my color? Because we have this similar color. So which means that we are superior. That means there's something about us that is more than you. That means you came later. Because if from the monkey race, you now had people of my color, and then it's now transmagrified to your own color, then it simply means that there's something about me that is unique. So let's just accept that we came from monkeys. Now, why are the monkeys not changing anymore? Now, before I came on, I discovered that it's already late, but I just said, okay, let me stop here. When I finish this broadcast, I'm going to go check it. I wanted to go to AI because I have this chat GPT, AI stuff. I want to type on it. Why are monkeys no more changing to humans? I want to see the answer it's going to give me. Because sometimes, you want to know how, artificial intelligence, and they are telling you how intelligent all these things are and how they are. I want to know how intelligent it is. Whether it will tell me that that narrative was flawed, because it tell me the monkeys are supposed to, because if it's at a point it stopped changing to humans, then at what point was it triggered to become human and then stop? Then who triggered that stuff? Who triggered it to become human and then stopped the process at a particular time when he has achieved his purpose? Then we'll begin to understand that there's a God somewhere, or somewhere, a being controlling the universe who is God. Of course, some people don't like mentioning the word God, but anyways, God to me means God, the creator of heaven and earth in English, which is Chukwokike in my language. So now let's go straight. Let's continue what we're saying. Now, the Israelis had this bond. They had this bond. They had success. In fact, they were so successful that the intelligence that they had was becoming a global. In fact, from time they had been, check it out, the first Egyptian empire, which the first empire that oppressed Israel, which is the Egyptian empire, you know, became very successful because a Jew became the prime minister. So, of course, we know that the Egyptians are dark colored, you know, before they began to, all these people began to come to our land and, you know, and divide and rule and all these tactics. I don't like talking about the wider Africa setting, you know, even if, of course, there was a program I wanted to start doing then about since last year, which is Why Africa. And I wanted to start educating on issues that have to do with Africa and why the name Africa itself, how it came, the nations, how they were before they were now divided, and they took some people into one place and called them Africa. They call these ones Europeans, they call these ones all these kinds of divisions and all of this stuff. I wanted to start going into those narratives and how we have allowed ourselves to become, you know, stooges to these people so that they have destroyed us so much, and yet we're not coming together to do what we have to do. But of course, if we want to talk about Africa, then we must first talk about charity at home. That means I must first think of how I'm going to save myself from this direct slavery I'm in before I begin to talk about the larger slavery we are in. Because we can't save our continent, or we can't save Africa or humanity, because when you talk about Africa, you're restricting it. You can't save humanity when you are not even talking about talk about yourself as a human and your source of being a human. That means where you are from. That is where we start from. That is where you begin from. That is the place you make. That is the first point of reference. Then you begin to go further into other things. Now, the spirit of unity was in the people. They believed in themselves. They invested in themselves. They were doing things together the same way Biafrans were. They were doing things together. They were buying things together. They buy from their own people, invest in their own people, and sit together to discuss matters, have agreements in themselves, decide collectively what they want to do, and carry out actions based on what they have decided. And then suddenly, the British came. And now the people, because I don't want to give the whole story, now Biafrans prefer to do that thing they do in the land outside, and now they have turned their back on their own inside. In fact, let me tell you, some Biafrans will tell you now that, no, I can't invest in my land because my family, people are wicked. They want to kill you. They want to destroy you. They want to take what belongs to you. Now, you see, when a people have a particular narrative or a particular way, a very unique way they operate, when there is an external invasion that corrupts that program of that intelligence of the people, because of the loss of hope and the criticalness of the circumstance that comes and the frustration that comes to the minds of the people, that particular mindset turns against them because they have now living anti who they are. And so what happened was this: Biafrans who together would want to build one another prefer to go and build outsiders than to build themselves. Because in the first place, the enemies came in, sowed the seed of discord, disrupted the narrative, caused so much damage to the fabric of the people, the fabric of what holds the people, the nation, and caused the people to begin to destroy themselves, betray one another, fight against one another, sell one another. How? If you check it, the slave trade. How? The same people were the ones selling themselves. Mazin American always say it. Few people came into the land and were able to take control of hundreds of thousands of people or millions of people who were living. Just few Europeans came into Ghana, stirred up these Ghanaians, used them to attack other parts of West Africa. The same Ghanaians who are also our brothers from the same region of Africa, from the same who and us, ganged up because of the resources and the promises and the bribery that have been given to them by the Europeans, came to fight their own people. Today, we have the seed of discord that has been sown all around. And it has cost us so much that now it is like things cannot be fixed. But we know that anything that have been discovered, and there are people who discovered it and are talking against it, it can be fixed. Now, let's come to Biafra. Psychologically, the reason why the first thing that comes into your mind when you have resources is to invest outside your land is because psychologically you have been defeated about your land. And so it affects every input or action you take about your land. It affects everything you do. It affects the way you behave, the way you reason, the way you operate, the way you want to believe in your land and the things you want to do. That is why when you talk about, that is why when you look inwards, you discover that you have more betrayals against the movement or the project of freedom rather than people in the midst of, I'm talking about in the midst of those who claim to be fighting for freedom. You have more betrayals because it pays them instantly to betray. Betrayal pays instantly because you would receive the reward right now. You'll get the resources, the money right now. But in trying to get your freedom, you think of the long-term effect, the long-term benefits, the investments that come from your limited resources, and you begin to wonder, is it not better for me to take what I can get now and leave other people to fight it later? That is why majority of the people, because of the situation they found themselves, and because of that spirit that have been instilled in our people psychologically, based on the fact that they no more attach value to their land, rather they value. Did you know? Let me tell you something. Our people prefer to go anywhere in the world and come back to Biafra land maybe in December. And when they come to Biafra land, they look down on everybody in that land, in that territory, and then they feel like they are above those people in the land. That's the mindset. You know why? That's whatever makes you look down on your people in your land is because of value for your people has been disconnected and put in another land that you think that being in that land is what gives you a value and makes you better than the ones in the land. So it is psychological. So you understand? Are you understanding the psychological narrative, the point where I'm coming from now? Because I'm breaking it down this way so that we can understand, so that we can now begin to ask ourselves, no wonder we are not taking the issue of our freedom seriously. No wonder we can easily fight those who are speaking about truth. No wonder we can easily embrace people who excite us. Now, in the midst of all of this stuff, what we will keep experiencing is frustration, because whenever you begin to look down on who you are and begin to value somewhere else, you will only end up feeling frustrated, no matter how that place you are, no matter what happens with the value you see in somewhere else. Because if you value something else than yourself and you look down on yourself, because when you look down on your land, you're looking down on yourself. When you look down on yourself, the only thing that comes into your mind is that you are from a place that is not of value. And that alone has its own psychological implication on your person. So directly or indirectly, you are frustrated by the fact that you feel that you have no value because of where you're coming from. And so that psychological defeat makes you malfunction on your mind, because mentally you think more of how you get more angry and frustrated about the less of value from where you're coming from, that you can even do anything to make yourself feel like you are important, to give yourself a prestige, because every human longs to be recognized and have value and be regarded. So when you go outside your land and you make a little money, you want to come into your land and oppress other people, and you want to have value, you want to see people give you a level of respect and value, respect in quote. And that is why sometimes we prefer our people to be down there, because we are seeking for attention. Whatever will cost. That is the reason why majority of the betrayals come from those who are outside Biafra land. Majority of the betrayals. But you know the problem here, now this takes me to the topic that we're dealing on, desperation. The problem here is that majority of the people who are helpless, who are frustrated, who are in the land also are seeking to also go out there to seek for value for themselves. That means they feel that being in their land does not give them value, does not add value to them. And so the only value they can get is to go out there. And so based on that desperation and that high esteem, they look on the people who are out there, who are of their roots from Biafra land. They also seek to look for any means, to patronize any means that will give them that money they think they can make outside, and however they will get it, they want to get it. So that becomes a very critical problem for our nation. We have more betrayals because people feel that betraying gives instant gratification and gives them an edge over other people, because they have seen other people display arrogance and edge over other people. This is very deep, and I just hope that we understand what I'm trying to say. No wonder when you talk about Biafra freedom, it is easier for people just to betray, because they're looking for instant gratification and want to be up there. They want to be in control. They want other people to look at them up there. They want to be in charge. They want to be regarded, because slavery has made them have small mind about their reputation and self. Sorry. Slavery has bastardized the mind, the average mind of a Biafran. So they now look for means of boosting their ego, and they feel that oppressing others becomes the only way to survive, because that seemed to be the only way to survive. That seemed to be the only way. Desperation now becomes a very, very, very dangerous instrument, because those who seek to be free now begin to patronize any means of deceit. One, they have been defeated in their mind, and so they see those people outside as people having an edge over them, and to preserve their own desires, to make themselves more important by stealing or by acquiring wealth, they want to sell their freedom. They want to betray the cause of freedom. They want to exchange their freedom for things that are worthless. That is why you can see people do anything to safeguard evil, to secure evil, to sustain evil, because it seems like the true path to freedom does not look lucrative. It seems like it doesn't look, it's stressful to be on the path of truth and decide to do things truthfully. It seems like it stresses, it puts you more on harm's way when you want to be on the right path. So this becomes a very critical situation, and that is why we have this unique situation in our. That is why we have this unique situation, a situation where so many people are betraying themselves, betraying the cause of Biafra directly or indirectly. very psychological. It shows in the way we value our land. It shows in the way we want to, how we value other land than our land. Because nobody sees their land better and wants to. Now, when I was listening to Moroccans, these Moroccans today, the Morocco people, talking about how the people are contributing, bringing resources, taking to the earthquake zones, where the places where the earthquake had happened, and and helping their people. And I saw emotional expression. In fact, a woman was literally crying inside of her, crying. She didn't know when she was being interviewed. She cried out. She said, "Look at her children. She has 2 children. Her children has everything. Her children have everything. Sorry. And here are children here. They don't even have what her children have. They don't have access even before the earthquake. Some said that they didn't even know that there are villages existing in this part of Morocco. And they were saying, we are Moroccans, we love one another, we will contribute. They are bringing their resources. But you know what? If this kind of spirit can be translated into every sphere of our lives all over Africa, it won't take us 1 year. We'll be free from colonial grips. It won't take us 1 year. If these spirits that the Morocco people are expressing today can be displayed in every of our land, in Biafra land, in Oduduwa land, in Jugun land, in everywhere. Oh my. Our freedom is in our hands. Now, let me tell you something, because I'm going to continue, and this is an introduction to this topic. I'm going to continue it in 2 days. That's on Friday. Desperation. Sometimes we don't know that we are desperate only when we begin to analyze our actions. Most of the actions we take, we exude, and most of the things we do are actually acts of desperation. And these acts of desperation, I've told you that desperation also can be positive and negative. Because you can be desperate to do the right thing. You can be desperate for progress in the context of positivity. That means you long, you want progress, you want success, you want things to work well. But on that altar of desperation, there is this subject of criticalness about purpose, why you are doing what you are doing, understanding the details of why you are into what you're doing, and understanding the principles that go with getting results in line with what you're looking for. But let me tell you something, what desperation in negativity does, in negative terms does. It bypasses principles. It bypasses principles. It wants to get whatever it wants to get, however it can get it. It doesn't care how it gets it. It's just like somebody, everyone wants to make money, right? But the reason why someone goes into money rituals is because they are desperate. So they bypass principles and they want to get it anyhow. They fall into serious crime, serious evil, and it costs them their future. It costs them their lives. It costs them their peace. It costs them everything good. Whenever you bypass principles to get anything, you are desperate, negatively desperate. And it will affect you because, one, those who have discovered or sensed your desperation will capitalize on it because now they know you are working on the realm of emotion. Because when emotion overrides the senses, it only takes emotion for anybody to go and kill their father or mother or sister to make money, or kill anybody to make money. It only takes emotion. The desire to make money. That's desire. Everybody have the desire to make money, but the desire that becomes void of principles, so that the mind, the emotion now takes control of the senses. The sense no more reasons out why, if I take this action, what it will do and how it will affect me or affect the other person. So it causes us to cut off principles and pursue a particular cause that may be just, but our approach might give us a contrary result, a contrary expectation. Now, in the next class, or in the next discussion, Friday, 5 p.m. Biafra time, I'm going to be talking critically on has cost us so much in Biafra, and how desperation has been a tool utilized by those people, also some of these people who are talking about Biafra. Because you need to put the people on the altar of desperation, emotional desperation, where they will be too desperate and they will do whatever you tell them to do. And that comes by manipulation. So for people to be desperate negatively, one, it comes from either internal, from the internal, or from internal, activities inside of your mind, or external actions or inactions from other people. But we're going to be looking at this critically. It's already an hour. I don't want to exceed an hour, but I want to thank you all for watching, for listening. Please share this program on all your social media platforms. Let the people begin to get information. Information is vital. You see, this freedom we're looking for, except we begin to do the right thing, we're not going to get the right result. Yeah, manipulation is the word. And we're going to be looking at it, manipulation, and how it is utilized to, to cash in on the desperation of the people. To also get the people to the point of more desperation as they are robbed along the line of desperation. The more they are robbed, the more they keep getting desperate, and the more they allow themselves to be robbed. And the more they don't even see that they are robbed. We're going to be talking about all of this stuff. 5 p.m. Biafra time on Friday. And I hope to see you. I want to appreciate you guys. I want to thank you, Barbara and Nego, for your messages. I want to thank you all, those who are watching, wherever you're watching from. I want to thank you all. Just understand that it is time for us to be free, and only truth can make us free. Nothing else. Dance from here, jubilate about any announcement you get on social media. Jubilate from one here and there. Rejoice and circulate and abuse other people who are saying that salt people, become an e-frog, and all of that. It will never change the truth. Only truth will give us Biafra. By Saturday, how we are missing out using Sudan, South Sudan, as a case study. How we are in a mess. I'm going to be telling you that on Friday, Saturday. Thank you all. I appreciate you guys. God bless you. Very good.